Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Token Podcast. I'm your host and sometimes referee, the friendly neighborhood Zach Stat Pearson, Christmas edition. And today, I'm joined by he who is not an officer, but is still a cop. A one officer, 9,000 plus one.
Yeah, you don't gotta worry about me arresting you. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, you might want to go to push to talk. We heard all that. And today, I'm joined by she whose mechanical skills know no bounds. As long as it's in a four-wheel vehicle, a one Mixus.
Hey, what's up, guys?
And last, but certainly not least, the strongest and the manliest, a one Dr. Vale.
Manliest, I mean, I am wearing glitter Christmas nail polish, but okay, I'll take it.
Well then.
This is why I love giving you an intro, because there's nobody who can have a funny retort that equals yours. No one is going to top that for 2025. I'm calling it right now. We can quote me in December of 2025, by the way. That's how confident I am. No one's topping that.
I'm confident too.
All right, so in case you guys hadn't noticed, we obviously have a new temp or possible permanent member. We have a Mixus now. So Mixus comes in multiple flavors. It's usually either tomboy or raging psychopath if you decide to offend her. So yeah, here's the ground rules. We don't have many. We don't care if you make a joke about someone or something you hate. Just please clarify for legal purposes and YouTube that it's something you hate. For instance, I have been known to say, I would sure love to get my hands around the pumpkin in chief so he can go from orange to red. Ha 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 ha. That is a joke. Ha 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 ha. For example. But we all know what I meant. We do not care if you curse. We were never a children's channel at any point in time. And we are not an echo chamber. So we welcome the idea of people having a difference of opinion and trying to explain it. You may convert some people to your belief, not relating to religion. Or you may just find out, oh, you got it half right, or help somebody who got it half right get it full right instead of half wrong. We're a very progressive group. But not as progressive as the GOP conventional summit, because man, they crashed Grindr. Did I mention that, by the way? They crashed Grindr?
Yeah, it was. I was gonna say that is my funny thing for this year.
Okay, well, if it makes you feel any better, you can still say, because I would still love to talk about it.
All right, true.
Oh my god, that shit was hilarious. I literally didn't stop laughing till yesterday. I'm not even joking. I was laughing on and off for like 2 hours at random throughout the day. I swear to God, if I went outside, people would have thought I was a joker, just like walking, laughing, mumbling and shit. It was too funny. It was too funny. You could have chopped my pinky off and I would have still been laughing.
Actually, wait, no. I just remembered another funny thing instead of that.
Okay, cool. Well, keep it to yourself until we get to that surprise.
Yep.
Now, we don't have a preset order. I just call people based on spur of the moment. But for the purposes of just getting it out the way, because I know I got mine pretty efficiently, I'm going down the list first. So let me just, I'm going to keep my color to purple. Y'all can set y'all to whatever y'all want to. So I'm going to start a whole new bracket over here. Zach's 2024 fave things. Number 1. I ain't gonna lie. This year, there was a lot of fuck-ups in gaming. But here's the thing I noticed. Most of the fuck-ups were from major $100 million and billion-dollar publishers. Whereas Indie Land was just coasting. Now, I know it wasn't mentioned, but I'm gonna let you guys know right now. Your favorite thing you read or did this year, or book, entertainment source, it does not have to be from the year 2024. I would not wound you guys like that. Okay, let me just say that off the bat. So for me, I say as far as gaming, I think outside of legitimately Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, surprising no one that I would fucking say that. Um,
Hmm.
Almost everything I came across was just, it came out fucked up. They did it on purpose. They want to sell you a car, but they don't want to give you the front tires, even though they implied they would, until there's a download for it and a patch for it. It just felt like everything I was buying from the major publishers felt like Swiss cheese. Again, with the exception of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. The biggest problem they had was graphical inconsistencies. I'd rather have a playable game with graphical inconsistencies than a game that can't play, and I just paid for it. Color me old fashioned. So, outside of Rebirth, I'm not gonna hold you. I had a tremendous amount of fun with the re-release of Sonic Generations. So, FF7. I'm gonna have to move that text box. / Sonic Generations Remaster. That's it as far as games. Now, how the fuck do I move this over? Shit, how did you move this over? God damn it. I'm just gonna have to make a new one.
Well.
Technology.
So FF7, Rebirth, and Sonic Generations Remaster. Alright, so when it comes to books, this is a unique situation for me because I'm in two camps. I legitimately can read novels. I like reading novels. But also, let's not act like graphic novels ain't fun too. So, who here knows about the Met Gala? Does everyone know what the Met Gala is?
I've heard of it.
I've maybe heard of it in passing.
I do not know what it is.
The Met Gala is essentially where a bunch of celebrities try to show off high fashion, but supposedly it's for a good cause other than seeing what they can get away with wearing. Don't get me wrong, I don't think the outfits are stupid. I get what they're going for. It's meant to be artistic. It's meant to be high fashion-esque. I've been to too many fucking conventions to sit up here and judge. Let's be honest. It would be like being a fucking hypocrite at that point. But here's the thing. It's meant, the tickets are $30,000 a pop, but the purpose of it is because them doing that keeps one of the biggest museums in New York City, of all places, one of the most expensive places to live in the entire country, from going into bankruptcy and debt and stuff like that. So I'm appreciative when they can, help out the arts. But the tickets are $30,000 a pop. And literally celebrities for close to 20 years go there in some ridiculously obscene outfits that defy the concept of functional fashion. And it's for a good cause.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah, but here's the crazy thing people don't realize. For the past 3 years, the X-Men have had an in-universe Met Gala, but they called it the Hellfire Gala. It's a formal party that they do every year from 2021 to 2023, I believe, where they go in and they actually invite people from across the spectrum of X-Men characters and cameos, and they put them in high fashion. But they actually went and had these outfits be designed. But they went and made a special edition version of all these books where you can go and look at full designs of the outfits and get an explanation for them. And the first time they did it was the 2021. It was called the Red Carpet Collection. It was like an extra 80 pages, and it was just, here's the design and high fashion version of this outfit. And they had so many guests in the background of it. Eminem was there. Kevin Feige was there. Apparently he doesn't know who Cyclops is, which I thought was hilarious. It's still an X-Men book. I know it's still an X-Men book, but you get to see the X-Men and they're relating people in high fashion. And I thought it was hilarious as hell when Doctor Strange came in, because first off, who in the whole world of superheroes wears more gauche shit than Doctor Strange? Doctor Strange came into the portal of the X-Men Hellfire Gala and he said, "Finally, for the first time, I'm underdressed." I was dead for like a week. I was just laughing at that. He was so pleased that he wasn't the person wearing the most outlandish shit there. X-Men Hellfire Gala. Like, feel free to look those books up. But if you specifically want to see the really big one, it's called X-Men Hellfire Gala, the Red Carpet Collection.
Yes, I need this.
Oh my God. Now, when it comes to novels, so I don't know about most of you guys, but some things can fade from my mind kind of easily. If you haven't read it in a long time. So I know we all may or may not have heard about the TV show Suburgatory, but here's what people don't know about Suburgatory. It was technically based on a novel made by a lady named Linda Aaron Keenan. So last time I read this book was like right before I was going into the military. So that was 2013. Okay. It was one of my favorite books. I spoke to the author on Facebook because she used to keep her Facebook in the book because she didn't think she would get that popular. She technically wasn't wrong, but you know, she's just a little bit more secure about how she goes about approaching people on social media, which nothing wrong with that, but she never cut me. She even wrote me a letter of recommendation once. Fun fact, she used to be like a floor manager over at CNN. Yes, that's CNN.
Oh.
So fucking I ended up just rereading it. And it's just as funny as I remember. There's a whole chapter devoted to a dude trying to get American men to sign off and petition to stop having circumcisions at birth. And then he goes into accidentally telling a group of people why he wants them to stop doing that. Let's just say it sounded very sexual. Also, he is a gay man, so it was very sexual, but it was also very fucking funny. And that's just like one chapter. All it is a collection of weird things people have said to her in the suburbs. You know, people who've never touched the concept of a city. They don't even know what a public bus costs, like those kinds of people. Because she was a city kid, but she moved, you know, out there once she was pregnant because 9/11 hadn't happened too long ago. They just got out of the city. It was hilarious. All right, so that's games, that's books. What's left? Okay, movies. All right. Now for movies, this one's a little bit of a weird one. Y'all may think less of me if you watch it. I don't know how to explain it. So I'm sure Ryan Gosling, who's getting some type of resurgence in popularity, not that I don't think he doesn't deserve it, but I've always thought Ryan Gosling was the equivalent of an average man. He's a good actor, but he seems very average to me. And again, I'm not saying this to be like mean or anything. He's just normal to me. Like if I saw Ryan Reynolds walking down the street, I might not think it's Ryan Reynolds because he just seems like an everyman.
Wait, you said Gosling and then Reynolds. Which one you mean?
Gosling.
Battle of Orions.
Ah.
Yeah. So in 2023, Ryan Gosling made a movie called Only God Forgives. I didn't see that movie. For some reason, don't get me wrong, it's a good movie, but I don't know if y'all noticed or remembered or not, there was almost no explanation of the synopsis. Like, legitimately, it came out, it had commercials, but no one could tell what the movie was. So a lot of people thought it was like some Fight Club type, literal Fight Club, not the movie Fight Club type movie, right? It had to have a red band trailer. No one knew that much shit about it. All we knew is that it featured Ryan Gosling potentially going around and beating up people from a revenge list. Like no one understood what the story was. That movie is some of the darkest shit I've ever seen never seen in a cinema, but wish I could have seen in a cinema. Oh my God. Okay. Ryan Reynolds is playing a man who's obsessed with fucking Asian women of every age bracket. Think about what I mean by that. And you learn this within the first like 5 minutes of the movie. The movie is some type of indirect sequel or continuation of a story that Ryan Gosling wasn't even in from a famous indie director. And Ryan Gosling's character is basically someone who's spent his whole life trying to appease or get, you know, acceptance from his family because he's always compared to his brother. Which I know that can sound very cliche, but here's where the twist comes in. He's from a family of organized criminals who are trying to take over a massive swathe of the Thailand underworld. Within the first 10 minutes of this movie, Ryan Reynolds is trying to buy a prostitute under the age of 18. Yeah. That face y'all making right now, that's what I was doing during the whole movie.
Yeah.
This was some of the darkest shit I'd ever come across in my life.
I tell you what, he has done some seriously dark movies because I don't know if you remember, I think it was called Drive or something back in like 2011.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it kind of has a dry vibe, but almost 10 times worse. Like,
Oh yeah, absolutely. From what you've
they
described.
almost use no ambience music this whole entire movie. It is silent. And just to point out one of the dark things he did, he realized that his parents would not be accepting of his Asian wife because he somehow got a wife out of this. And she realized that he was essentially in organized crime and whatnot. And says, hey, listen, I'm not sure I'm comfortable with any of this. So like, oh, you're not comfortable with all the stuff I'm buying you? You're not comfortable with all the stuff I gave you? You're not comfortable blah, 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 blah after all this time? So in the middle of a hallway in public, he goes, you're not comfortable with that dress I bought you? Why are you wearing that dress? And he literally yells at her until she takes it off and strips into her underwear and runs off crying. That's just one scene. So yeah.
Well then.
Yeah, it's like you want to watch it, but you feel bad because you know how it's going to end. Well, I won't spoil the ending. I don't understand the ending, but oh, it was dark. It was so fucking dark. Anyways, yeah, that's pretty much it for me. A notable mention. So this is something I guess I'll end it on a lighthearted note for number one because I know that got kind of dark. So I know a lot of people don't know it because Neon Genesis Evangelion is a definition of a fucked up series in every sense of the word. Of all the many iterations that are canon are not canon because the creator is autistic as shit, and no, that's not an insult. He literally is autistic and shit doesn't make a lot of sense because his mind changes and his opinion changes, and what is and is not object of fact can change by the fucking day or the weather. I'm not even fucking with y'all. One thing that never made it over here was an alternate story of Neon Genesis Evangelion called Neon Genesis Evangelion Anima or Anima. Anima. Basically, it's a mecha manga, but it still has the serious tones of Neon Genesis. However, it's more Gundamized. So there are different mobile suits, there are different angels and all of that shit, and sometimes characters get upgrades or sometimes people get suits who didn't get suits. It's a completely different story, but it's complete. It's got a beginning, middle, end. In Japan, and it finished in like 2014 or maybe even just like 2012. They finally started releasing it in English as of last month.
Huh.
You might want to look into it. Neon Genesis Evangelion Anima. All right, moving into number two. So I think all of you are aware of this. So, you know, or at least Officer and Dr. V, y'all are gonna get bored as shit. Mixus, this might be new for you. So
Yeah.
the test build I've been working on with that third party company I contracted to make, you know, my game and my game's demo and all that shit. Or should I say hours at this point. I did a little bit too good of a job. So the owner of the company basically wants to be a publisher slash developer for the actual full title. Meaning instead of me and my investors collectively pooling money together to make payments to get them to work for like a month or 2 months, they're going to pay for it. Completely, whole stop. So yeah, that's my major accomplishment. How to shorten that? Negotiating game dev deal. That'll work. Good old number 3. The shit that's always long enough to be its own life stories. Alright, so weird shit that happened to me this year. So many things. But I'm going to focus on 2 notable things. I learned me and my fellow dark-skinned and occasional mahogany-colored compadres have noticed that it has become very popular for white people, or those who resemble cheesecake, to substitute nigga for ninja when referring to a total stranger that they don't know. And we don't know how to feel about it because on paper, it's not done maliciously. But then you run into the question of why the fuck are you doing this in the first place? You have so many other substitutions, I guess would be the best word. Substitution no jutsus you can fucking use. You know, bro, homie. And if you say home slice, I'm going to disown you because first off, home slice. Amigo, muchacho, hombre. I'm pretty sure I said bro, but I'm going to throw in dude. And the original substitution that wasn't a substitution, but it kind of felt like it depending on who says it. My guy. So yeah, white kids saying ninja instead of nigga to minorities. It is fucking weird.
Extremely cringe.
And they just have these innocent faces on, I swear. Now, the second one, well, this one's kind of a classic, but it's been really nostalgic this year. So I'm sure everyone and their mom at this point knows. I take pictures when I go fun places or I think I'm going to see something cool and exotic. Sometimes it's people, sometimes it's land masses, or sometimes it's a colorful piece of art. So every so often, usually a monthly basis, somebody has to text me to let me know someone has decided I'm stalking them whose name I don't know, or my personal favorite, someone's girlfriend or boyfriend has decided I am trying to steal their boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, or wife because I took a picture of them at a convention or at a, public event. Someone who wasn't even there, or I haven't met, or doesn't even know my name. But because it's so easy, might know me personally, but because it's so easy to Google me, I believe, if memory serves, if you remove the advertisements, I'm the first 5 or 6 listings if you type in Zax Pearson, surprising no one. Well, actually, surprising a lot of people. Apparently, it's very hard for everyone but me to make themselves show up in like the first couple listings on Google. I don't seem to have that problem. In fact, there's been other Zax Pearsons who've been mistaken for me, gotten death threats about shit and told me about it. We've kind of had bond over that shit. It's kind of fucked up, but if it wasn't fucked up, I wouldn't be talking about it. So this particular year, I thought this was just funny. So I don't believe this has come up in conversation at all. But one particular year, I took a picture of Ryu, Ken, Akuma, and Goken. Basically, the Shoto family of Street Fighter. Ryu's and his dad and his uncle and Ken, the other student. Playing Streets of Rage. The arcade machine Streets of Rage.
Yeah.
It was just fun for me. But because somebody decided that they wanted to do that asshole thing damn well you're not supposed to do, but you feel like you're entitled to when you're at a convention or just when you're dressed up. Some cosplay chick decided to put her feet up and try to do some type of cool ass and or sexy ass pose on the actual arcade machines, which damn well you're not supposed to get up and walk on and shit. Right?
Well,
they're on the side of my picture. It's in landscape format. They're not the center of attention, and they're even a little bit blurred because they're in the background. I don't know they're there. I don't give a shit that they're there. That wasn't my intention or goal to take a picture of them. I don't even think I know who the fuck this lady's name is. Now, I get this picture. I give it to the guys. eventually we all like it. It even ended up in some YouTube video at some point, not one of my collage, but someone else's, just because they wanted the picture. And I was like, good, go ahead, use it. And this is before I really like did anything with YouTube. So this picture is, at least with pictures. So this picture is at least 4 years old. Somebody found that shit and then tried to say I was trying to fuck that girl. Remember, this is 4 years old. So in 2020, this shit happened. This dude came at me in December of 2024 talking about, I'm trying to steal this girl.
Bro, what?
I'm surprised you surprised. This is a common occurrence. So I'm fucking like, hey, listen, I don't know who your girl is, but seeing as how a lot of randos who are extremely insecure accuse me of trying to smash somebody who I've never said anything sexual to, even if they prove it to you, would you like to provide some type of context or details, sweetie? Don't call me sweetie. Well, I would love to not call you sweetie, but you opened this conversation up by telling me you're going to beat my ass if I do anything to your girlfriend or whatever, who I don't even know that we're talking about, in a picture with 4 dudes. So unless one of those dudes is trans and I didn't know it at the time, I'm lost on what this is even about. So then after about 10 posts, because he filled up the text limit cap, the 10th one actually had explanation. He's talking about this blurry ass chick I can't even fucking make out inside of this video. I was like, yo, I mean the picture. I was like, yo, I don't even know who the fuck that is. Okay? Stop pretending I know who the fuck that is, man. Also, that shit's blurry. Yeah, because you censored her. It's like, no, because I set the focus to manual on the camera because the target was the 4 motherfuckers playing Streets of Rage. You can't prove that. I was like, I don't give enough of a shit to prove it, buddy. In fact, listen, I'm not gonna lie to you right now, okay? Here's the thing I learned very quickly, especially, I'm assuming this must have been a, Japanese cartoony type convention, because this is the only time I deal with this level of stupidity. Listen, I wear glasses, so most people assume I'm just some modern version of fucking Urkel. But I want you to understand something. I'm not. I'm not going to give you some long ass rant, and I have no problem incriminating myself with someone who's threatening me with violence and other quote unquote unspeakable acts. I'm also a little bit offended you said unspeakable acts. Like, I'm actually offended. If you're going to threaten me, at least do the damn job. Here's how you do the job, by the way. Take notes. Sir, I have no problem shooting you, stabbing you, or beating the fuck out of you at a convention. I don't know who you are, who your girl is, and I've told you this before you went on this 30-minute, 40-minute rant. Also, this picture's 4 years old, so here's what you need to do. Come get me. Okay? I live in Illinois. So, whatever convention this is, if it's not in Illinois, I don't even know if I'm gonna go there again. Not because I hate out-of-state conventions. It's just I usually reserve my out-of-state conventions for the shit that isn't specifically about Japanese cartoony shit. Because there's always some weirdness going down, or I have to find out late that someone I thought was cool was actually a pedophile, or they do crazy shit to females or males. Or GBA, as I like to call it, Game Boy Advance, Guilty by Association, when I didn't know this shit happened because I only see these motherfuckers maybe twice a year. So here's what's going to happen. Point yourself out to me, make a loud announcement, because I am going to beat your ass, and I'm probably going to use, like I stated, something I can stab you with or electrocute you with, and it's going to be the end of it. And I want you to understand something. When we get to court, who do you think is going to be in more trouble and less trouble? The guy who defended himself from someone who decided to threaten them with death and violence, who they, over somebody they don't know, 4 years after a picture, or you? Really stop and think about that. Also, I want you to understand something. I don't want an apology. Ever. If I see you or your girlfriend, I'm going to do what I always do. I'm going to give them a copy of this so they can use this against you whenever they get away from you or don't get away from you. Or I can figure out what type of true female they are. Because there are a lot of females out here who will literally go with their guy telling them you're not allowed to have male friends. And they will basically say, you're my piece of property, without saying the words, because they're so desperate, lonely, insecure, or fear being able to pay your bills your damn self and just having someone help you because they love you, that they will basically become a little punk bitch coward and try to be friends with me in secret. Now, I don't respect a lot of them, The ones I respect are the ones who will tell me point blank, hey, my husband or boyfriend has decided that you do this shit, and I know you don't do it because first off, you've never said anything sexual to me, you don't hit on me, blah, 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 blah. I appreciate them because they can stop me from getting backstabbed or sabotaged in a number of situations going down the line in my future where I don't even know that they know the same people and they've been going around the line and trying to start some type of shit. Because you know how it is. If they can't beat your ass, what do they always do? They shit talk you into oblivion and ruin your image. A convention image means very little to me, but the times when it does mean something to me are the times when I'm probably going to transition from I gave you the warnings, now I'm going to beat your ass, tell the cops if you want to, because I've already probably decided I'm going to fill out a report. And to this day, I don't know where they are, but I've had about 20, 25 police reports that I filled out after someone told me they were going to beat my ass or murder me over somebody I don't fucking know. Or someone I only met one time. So, what's a good way to phrase this? People still out here dating insecure fuck boys / girls.
Tale as old as time.
A song as old as rhyme.
I'd make a Beauty and the Beast reference here, but sounds like these guys weren't really beastly.
No. Some of these dudes. Well, here's the blow. Some of these dudes are like pretty boys. They got muscles, or they're just average, but they got muscles, so they do better than most. And they coming at me years later. So yeah, who wants to go next?
I can go. And then I'll probably need to sign off just because I had about an hour put aside.
No, that's fine. All right, I'm going to go to push to talk and or mute, and then just go on the board, list your topics.
So you want each thing listed on the board?
Well, it makes it easier to see. So, yeah. All right. Now, with that being said, I'm gonna hand the floor over to you, Dr. Vale. Why don't you tell me what you consider the best media you consume this year? Game, movie, book, whatever.
I was extraordinarily impressed by the movie The Substance. I thought it was not only just a great film, but also a really interesting, unique body horror movie, I think is what you'd call it. It was good. It was really good. It was like a Requiem for a Dream meets like Black Swan, meets I don't even know what. I enjoyed it a lot. I think it was somewhat divisive. I think some people weren't really a fan, but at the same time, some of the folks who didn't like it just made me wonder if they were kind of receiving the intent of the movie, and if they weren't, that doesn't mean that it's their fault, because sometimes with art like that, it's kind of complicated. But I liked it. I thought it was really, really, really good. And I love horror, but I haven't been watching as much, just because I don't know. It's just become kind of overwhelming to figure out what movies to try. So that was really good. So that's something that actually came out this year. An old series of books that I've been checking out on Audible, actually. It's called the Sandman Slim series. It's a really good series of books that's it's a set in modern LA, and it's your kind of like angels and demons and magic is real kind of thing. And Sandman Slim is this really rough around the edges magician, technically. It's like an interesting matrimony. It's almost like it's got vaguely Constantine vibes, only Sandman Slim himself is a lot more colorful than that character. And it's good. It's really good. So I've been burning through all the books, and there's perhaps 10 in this series. It's really good. A major accomplishment this year. Oh, I don't know. I just started a new job with a big Rocky Mountain agency, So I'm pretty pleased with that. And then something weird that happened this year. I don't know. This year's been eventful, but I don't necessarily know there's been a ton that was weird. I suppose that probably one of the closest things is that in the apartment complex that my boyfriend and I live in, it's a family moved out and sadly abandoned a group of cats, and
Oh,
all of us neighbors rallied and got all the cats taken care of, and so we helped out by fostering one of the cats and seeing if she was going to integrate with our cats, which she wasn't, even after almost 2 months of trying. But then we got her a friend of ours adopted her, and she is happily got a home. So yeah, that was more like tragic and sad and upsetting. But we bunch of the apartment people rallied and took care of the cats. So I'm not sure if that's weird, but it's the best I got.
I feel like I got a Christmas Hallmark movie miracle with that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm a big animal lover, and so I was just beside myself with that situation. Absolutely
Entirely
beside
understandable.
myself. Yeah. Yup. But yeah, The Substance, really good. Sandman Slim novels, really, really good. Really, really good.
You're gonna tell us what they were about?
Let's see. Oh man, there's a ton. I mean, basically, not to spoil too much, but Sandman Slim, um, one of his shticks is that he starts off the series literally having escaped from hell because he's in that storyline. He's the first like living person to actually go to hell, which an enemy rival magician managed to send him there, and so he comes back and he's got enhanced like physical abilities and magic and stuff from having survived. I believe it was something like 11 years in hell, which in that series it's colloquially referred to as downtown. Hell. Downtown. Yeah. Yeah, it's good. So basically, it just goes through all kinds of interesting things that are going on. Like magical plots and conspiracy by the local magicians. There's even technically one that has to do with like an outbreak of zombies, but it's a lot more interesting than it sounds, given how common zombie stuff is these days. And zombies are referred to in that series as drifters. And yeah, it's good. It's really, really good. The writing, it's all written from first person, from Sandman. You never leave Sandman Slim's perspective. It's always centered around him, and he's speaking in first person. And the audible narrator, and I can't remember his name, but he does an amazing job. Like he just brings that character to life. It's almost like if there were like a cartoon or something, which I would love, or a movie or something, like he would either need to play it or voice it, because he's just got it down in a way that's I've just never really heard from a book narrator. Good stuff. Highly recommended.
So yeah, and what was The Substance about?
The Substance is basically about an aging like fitness influencer star played by Demi Moore, who is upset. Yeah, yeah. So she's kind of like feeling self-conscious about her decreasing, fame and regard by the public and regard by like others in the industry, particularly people who are probably the equivalent of like business leaders and producers. And so she she kind of encounters just something called the substance, which is supposed to create a kind of young version of you, and like in a way it's almost, it's like your consciousness but not quite you goes into that younger version, and you kind of switch back and forth between them. Again, not to spoil too much for whoever's listening. And being a body horror movie, as you can well expect, things go horribly wrong, and its execution is really interesting and good. The cinematography is really interesting. The writing's really interesting. The acting is excellent. I thought it was really cool.
I'm definitely going to see that movie, especially if it's got your stamp of approval. Officer, why aren't you writing these? All right, so why don't you take us into number 2? You did your number 2 before you did your number 1, so that's not a big deal. I guess we could move directly into number 3, or did you want the cat thing to count as your number 3?
The cat was definitely the number 3. No, I'm counting it as number 4. My new job is my number 3. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, as always, Dr. Vale, it is good to have you here. I know you always have to do something for and with your patients. That's right, folks. He's not actually a nickname doctor. He is a legitimate one.
Well, yeah, psychologist. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was appreciating time we can get you to come through. And I look forward to seeing what happens with both of us in 2025.
So do I.
All right. Have a good one.
Have a nice
Later.
day.
Mixus, you go ahead and go next.
I was gonna ask if I could go next. I got somewhat limited time.
You can go ahead.
All right. How do I increase? How do I reduce the font size?
Number 1, second verse, same as the first.
Okay. Best media that I experienced this year. I would say movie-wise, only really got 2 for this one. Movie-wise, definitely best movie I saw was Deadpool 3. That movie was hilarious.
Yes.
Picking up not too long after Deadpool 2, story-wise, and I can go into spoilers, right?
Whenever I ever stopped you.
True enough. But where they brought in all these characters from these maybe less successful Marvel movies to do cameos, like Elektra, Blade, that young lady Wolverine was protecting in what was that movie called? Was it just the Wolverine? Where at the end of it, he died?
Logan.
Logan, yeah, sorry, thank you. And then opening scene of Deadpool 3, his corpse gets defiled and arms used as arms with the claws in it used as weapons against the fucking Time Variance Authority. That was a hilarious little crossover thing there with the Loki TV show. I appreciated how much Deadpool 3 is willing to expand into the material for Marvel Cinematic Universe and that isn't just the movies. That, and like I said, it was hilarious. As for my other really good media for best one this year for video games, Atlus's Studio Zero made the game Metaphor ReFantasio. A game that is basically like Persona, but with a notably different direction of the story it was going. Where instead of focusing on young, high school age kid going through some weird supernatural things while also having to do high school stuff, you've got a bunch of people living in a fantasy kingdom trying to get your main character to basically take on the role as the kingdom's new prince. Or, sorry, no, new king. While simultaneously trying to save the long thought dead prince of the kingdom from a magic curse that's afflicting him. And one of the big major themes of the story is how this kingdom is full of 8 different races of people, and the levels of racism are pretty severe. Clearly, they knew what they were doing with that regard, because it looked like positive or negative, it looked kind of like the United States in a bunch of some ways maybe flattering, mostly unflattering, but well, what about racism is good here? Honestly, nothing. But it's all about, going through these various racial problems in the kingdom while also solving the supernatural, monsters constantly attacking the kingdom.
Interesting. So yeah, you should still write those down as you say them. You've definitely given me some
Alright.
stuff to think about.
Alright. Yeah. Alright, so, hold on. I helped a friend of mine overcome her addiction to cocaine and VTubers.
That is the weirdest combination I will probably hear of all of 2025. I am, again, calling it right now. No one is going to be able to top that when we get to this end of year video in 2025.
Maybe, maybe not. The two things were not related. They were two separate problems that were.
I mean, it was kind of implied, but it's just funny as hell. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy for your friend, but the way the information was presented to me is funny as hell.
How does one get addicted to VTubers?
Mostly in this specific scenario, it was mostly a matter of extreme social anxiety, and then because of that extreme social anxiety and not wanting to directly interact with people, she kind of clung to a parasocial relationship instead, and it was not good.
Oh, it's very sad.
There are, and don't mistake me here as saying, "Oh no, all VTubers are bad. Parasocial relationship." Not every single VTuber is engaging in that whole parasocial thing. Many of them are well aware that what they're doing could sometimes inherently, sometimes unintentionally get people into a parasocial relationship, and that is by no means a good thing for people at all. But many of them are aware of it. I'm not trying to say VTuber's bad here, though there are some really shitty companies that take care of VTubers, or that manage VTubers, but probably best I don't get into that, as that's a whole other rabbit hole. Though it could be worth a topic sometime discussion in the future. If you'd be up for it, Zax.
I feel like I'm gonna get something to laugh at out of it, so I'm always down.
Sure enough. But yeah. It was weird seeing someone get addicted to VTubers, and until I saw it actually happen, I wouldn't have believed it would have happened. That was a thing that could happen. But I guess I learned something new.
Okay, and your something weird that happened, because that number 2 could have easily been slotted in number 3. Just saying.
It could have, but then let me typing that up. All right, now drag that over there. Yeah. For number 3, 2 things come to mind. One was what you mentioned earlier of during the Republican National Convention, they caused Grindr to crash. That shit is fucking hilarious, and once again proof that many things that many Republicans say with regards to those in the LGBTQ community is projection
So
and confession.
let's provide a little bit of context. What we all know what it is, but the audience just in case. So, Grinder, which I believe gets the least amount of marketing and promotional shit. Grinder is a exclusively LGBT plus whatever comes after the T, essentially a sex app. It's meant to help people find one night stands. If they turn into something else, hey, good for you. If they don't, then mission accomplished. Specifically for people who are, again, in that whole entire sphere.
Typically those in the G section of the LGBTQ.
Not
But yeah,
gonna question how you know that. Moving on, but
I've got friends who use it. Gasp! I know gay people. Big whoop.
no, you just ruined the fucking joke completely. Anyways, so the fact that the Republican National Convention crashed this app, the entire political spectrum, whose job it is essentially to take the rights of anybody who so much as unheteros anything sexually, that means that at a bare minimum, how many people are there cheating on their significant others, male or female? And how many of them are raging fucking stereotypical hypocrites? And how many of them are jealous and just insecure that, oh, here's these people out here who aren't afraid to be what they are, and you're over here hiding because you're a coward. They're just jealous. And I'm just sitting over here like, that is hilarious on so many levels. I swear to God, or 4 of my bisexual friends, because I knew they weren't going to believe me. I called up 3 or 4 of my bisexual friends within 10 minutes of that, and I barely got through it. One of them told me, bro, just stop trying to say it and text it, because that's how hard I was fucking laughing, right?
Yes.
And it got a little bit awkward after that, but I guess it's funny now, but it was fucking awkward as hell then. So I told one of my friends, like, wait a minute, you looking at, they text me back later, it's like, wait a minute, you be looking into LGB, and all that stuff, rights issues. I mean, yeah, it's human rights. Human rights don't just apply to a minority, it applies to anybody who's a human being. And they're the only people, or at least they're the most popular people politically, trying to take away your rights literally. And they got whole entire propaganda and hate campaigns about the shit, whether they admit it or not, or can even comprehend it. I was like, oh, well, I didn't think you were one of us. Hey, listen, we'd love to have you over. My husband would love to get a hold of you. I was like, now, wait a minute. Well,
I'm an ally.
for the purposes of conversation, our name is going to be Sally. I was like, hey, Sally, listen, I'm not actually bisexual. I just hate it when your rights get taken away or someone tries to take your rights away based on your sexual preference. Now, if it was some pedo shit, that's a whole nother matter. I'm not actually bisexual. Oh, well, then what are you? I'm heterosexual. Like, no, you're not. It's like, yes, I actually am. I don't know why my gay friends acknowledge and accept it. My lesbian friends acknowledge and accept it. But every so often, there'll be like 2 or 3 guys like, are you really? I was like, yes, I'm actually heterosexual. I don't know where it comes from. But in this particular time, she just realized very quickly, oops, I've said a little bit too much. But to be fair, um, uh, I mean, I guess that's kind of a compliment. I don't really know. I got a bunch of bisexual friends, but I've never had someone just blatantly tell me, "Hey, me and my husband would love to get a hold of you." So yeah, I acknowledge it's funny. Still feels a little bit weird though, but yeah.
Mhm.
I think they're hoping. They're hoping.
Maybe. But yeah, great allies. We exist. So for the other thing that was weird that happened this year, and that I'm still like, even now, I think at least a month or so, maybe a little over a month and a half after it was announced, still occasionally thinking of and getting a bit of a giggle out of, is how The Onion, one of the most well-known satire news sites, on the internet, has bought out InfoWars from Alex
Are
Jones.
you sure about that? Are you sure? Because supposedly that got blocked. I was hoping it didn't get blocked, but I think that got blocked.
Uh, I recall they attempted to have it blocked, but the attempt to have it blocked, once it actually gets into court, is apparently doomed to fail. At least from what I've heard of, like, some legal analysts looking at the whole situation. But that shit, it it is, hopefully, should it go through, it probably will, is going to be comedy gold. I think it's supposed to be officially handed over January 3rd. So unless somehow it does in fact get overthrown, it is going to be something to look forward to in January. Is take a look at InfoWars and see, instead of the usual crazy conspiracy monger nonsense, we'll get satire of the crazy conspiracy nonsense.
I honestly hope. I know it sounds. Well, I know it's not fucked up, but I hope that they make like an entertainment channel or something, and they get the actual Sandy Hook kids to come in there and just do shit that makes Alex Jones look like even more of a piece of
Oh
shit.
yeah. With regard to that, uh, it was in fact the families of the Sandy Hook victims who specifically requested that, as part of their legal, the whole legal deal, the how they won the case against Alex Jones, they specifically requested that The Onion buy out Infowars.
Oh my god, it couldn't be a more beautiful joke. Seriously, fuck Alex Jones. I know we normally, or you
Indeed.
normally say fuck Konami, but fuck Alex Jones just has this ring to it. Just it's like that first cup of coffee in the morning. Fuck Alex Jones. The best part of waking up is fuck him in your cup.
Ew, I don't want to fuck him at all. Okay, that's a tough one to follow. All right. Um, okay, let me get my stuff typed out here.
Oh shit, here we go. We know what you're gonna be playing in 2025.
All right, y'all. Let me tell you about my Lord and Savior, Baldur's Gate 3.
And how it swept the Game Awards last year.
I
As
didn't.
honestly it should have.
Oh, wait, what's this meme? What is this meme you're putting in here? Oh, yeah. Let me cook. Okay. But, like, for real, guys, it has been many years since I have been this obsessed with a game for this long. This game has been out for, let's say, like a year and a half, like full release. And even before that, it had early access. But it's still going. They're still releasing patches for it. Yeah, it's gonna slow down because Larian's moving on to like their next project and stuff. But it is seriously game changing for the community right now, like the gaming community. Like anything Larian puts out, I will be buying immediately. That is how awesome this developer is because they know how to do it right. Like, dude, come on. Like I don't know if you guys have played the game at all or if like followed any of their social media, but
I played the
like they're
game, yeah.
just like their interactions with fans.
I actively avoided making an entire episode about Baldur's Gate 3 because I have been having the weirdest time with their licensing department, but we're going to have to talk about that once we're done recording. It is really weird.
Oh, I'm excited for that one. But just so much love for Larian, so much love. And even like just their writers, their developers, just the voice actors and all of the motion capture actors and all of that. I love them all. I am obsessed with this game, the story. Like before, like I'm really into modding games too, so before it was like just the Sims, so just like really simple like pack files and whatnot. But this I got into like scripting stuff, and it was so cool just to like have like programs up next side by side running the game and just to see exactly what all of my mods were doing. So this game has changed my life completely. It's in so many different facets. I cannot talk about this game. Did you seriously put a Joe Rogan gif in this? Are you kidding
No,
me
that's
right now?
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones. Oh, are you adding it to your notes? Okay. Oh my god. Okay. But yeah. I will get off my soapbox about that one. Hold on. Scooting this over here so I'm not like blocking Zex's stuff
As
over
much
here.
as I would like to stay a little longer, I unfortunately must be going for now.
Alright, I'll just talk Zex 0 about everything else.
Y'all have yourselves a nice day.
Alright, you too. Alright, what else I got? What is the next? Alright, major accomplishment. So I have not upgraded my computer since 2020. So it was like totally. Well, I recently got Dragon Age Veilguard. Don't judge me.
You have my condolences.
You know what? I love Dragon Age. I love Dragon Age. Even though this game isn't like it doesn't feel like part of like the original series, but I still like it. I just it gives me warm fuzzies, but not like the original game does. But it's like very CPU intensive. So I had to upgrade my CPU. And when I did that, I had to upgrade everything. So I decided to go to water cooling. I had to upgrade my motherboard too since I got the Ryzen 7 9700X, and because of that, I had to learn how to flash the BIOS and upgrade that. And that was fun because I almost bricked my motherboard. So I would consider that an accomplishment because I didn't waste $1,000 ruining computer parts. So yeah, I am very happy with that. Let me write that in here really quick. Oh, by the way, highly recommend Lee and Lee water cooling. It is like highly efficient, very quiet. Totally not sponsored, but
Well, technically, you don't have to say that, but thank you for including that part.
you know what? It's a podcast. I'm gonna say it anyway, just for shits and giggles. Why not? So let's see, upgrading. If I can fucking type, upgrading PC. And then as far as like something weird, like I've been going back and forth on this one. Like there's so many different things that I could put for this, and I feel like the ones in my personal life are just not interesting at all. So, I'm like maxing out my microphone here. Um, let's just talk about how it feels like we're living in an alternate timeline. Like for real. Like this doesn't even feel like real life.
Is that your number 3?
Absolutely. Like something.
To be fair, you are not the first person to say this shit to me, but also at the same time, I'm just thinking, I mean, I kind of saw this coming, but you can't be the black guy of any type of darkness to say, uh, we're heading towards the worst times, because everyone else has already beat you to that punch to the point where nobody listens, and it's literally being a real life equivalent of Boy Who Cried Wolf. But ironically, Trump ain't the motherfucker that made me realize this shit. So I actually like Community, the show. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Oh yes, I haven't seen all of it, but I've seen quite a bit of it.
Do you one better? I actually got the Blu-rays. Every episode's at least 2 or 3 minutes longer, and something usually gets censored out.
Ooh, does that have the cut D&D episode?
Yes, I have which I'm actually doing a show based on. I'll tell you about that after this is over. Um, I have the episode where, for no logical reason at all, they found an evil version of themselves, and they were wearing fake ass mustaches made out of like some type of foam or some shit. And it was that episode where there was a bunch of different iterations of when everyone went to Troy's apartment, and I'm just like, holy shit, we're actually in the darkest timeline. Everything that could have gone wrong politically went wrong. Lies have L ratioed the truth. Technically, that's just propaganda being propaganda. But that's not the problem anymore. The problem is we have people who will find this shit out, know that the shit is true, and still say fuck it. And that's what made me think, man, I need to make enough money to keep my ass in Canada, not just stay up there for like almost a full year. Oh, that was a gloriously fun time.
I'm already thinking about like.
Well, I already told him like a bunch of places he can go, though the problem is that it's not so much that he has to make sure, you're okay with it. It was more like up until like 2 months ago, I couldn't find any place where he wasn't going to have to worry about that little allergy of his. And that was a recent development. And when I say found out about this place, that didn't happen until I spent like the past 2 months just verifying it. Not just because, he would benefit from it, but because he wasn't the only person who's been saying shit like, man, I need to get the fuck up out of here. Even if it's just to a different state, I can't be here because they keep taking my rights or they keep fucking with my family, blah, 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 blah. I don't know who the fuck decided that magically I know how to fix these problems. I'm not mad. It's just I'm a little bit disturbed because they've never been wrong. But, I've been to almost every single state. That doesn't mean I've lived there for an extremely long period of time. But somehow the magical answer to the equation, which is weird enough, is Tennessee. So yeah, Tennessee is where you might want to try to get over to. Besides having literally the best basic education in the entire country, they are a super blue state, despite what people think and perceive. And they've got one of the better healthcare systems that rivals Illinois, which has one of the best blue state healthcare systems. The only downside, which is something you're probably already used to, their public transit system is essentially ass. If you are not in a big city and you are not going downtown, it is ass. You're basically using the state The federal public transit system if you're trying to get anywhere or to get anything done. But yes, Tennessee, because you don't have to worry about snow and everything I just previously said. And that's after 2 months of verification.
Gotcha. I'm not even looking to stay in the States. We're looking at New Zealand, man. We're not even going to stay in this side of the hemisphere.
You might as well have given yourself a living wake because your homies ain't gonna see you again. And God help you if you didn't bring a phone book. The thing that we all forgot existed. I don't even think I've said those words in that order in like 25 years.
When is the last time you ever got a phone book?
Well, by the time I was an adult, phone books were essentially useless. But the last time I've seen one, I was 14 and I tripped over it because it was wet and soggy and no one knew it was on the ground.
That's disgusting.
I remember the Yellow Page commercials, though. They were actually trying to compete with the internet. It was hilarious.
Oh, that was going to be my original thing, but then I switched it to the alternate universe. But so I want to talk about how shitty like public utilities are, because we had a water main break on our street, so we had like no water pressure for a solid week because like our neighborhood is so old that all of the tree roots are just completely ruining all of our pipes. So
Fun fact
in order-
about Ohio,
so in
if you
order-
can call it a fun fact, landlord owners and are under no legal obligation to, for lack of a better term, guarantee clean, accessible water. Ohio, ladies and gentlemen.
bullshit.
Which is why I don't live there.
But so we had essentially a river flowing down our street for a solid week in the middle of December, because in order to get to the pipe, they had to get an excavator out and dig down to temporarily patch it up before they could actually fix it. So what they did was they put up some caution tape around where this massive geyser was coming up out of the ground. They put a little sign up that said, "Repair pending." Very dystopian like. And it was like that for a good week before they finally came out with something. It's still not actually fixed even now. It's just temporarily patched. Stop the water from flowing, but seriously, guys. There's water flowing out the middle of the street. There's like a free water feature. And since we're in like kind of a we still have like some parks near us, like not like heavily wooded, but it's like enough to where we have like some deer roaming around. So I was driving out for work. It was about 5 o'clock in the morning because I live so far away, and there's just this buck walking across the street, just casually taking a drink of water from this flowing man-made river. What the fuck is going on, guys? What the fuck?
You two have lived a very, very episodic life. I guess that's a nice way of putting it, I swear. Because I love how people think that they keep saying shit like, such and such person is gonna fix everything. I was like, hey, dumbass. People fix things when they know they will get in trouble for not fixing them. I don't care that your entire state thinks the pumpkin in chief is the second coming of fucking Jesus. That shit that was broke a month before he got in office, still probably gonna be broke a month after he gets in office because, well, you voted for an idiot who's going to make sure that people can get away with fucking you over.
Yep. Probably gonna be more broke.
Wait till you look up what Michael Keaton said about him. Michael Keaton, who has met Trump multiple times, by the way. Like, he didn't even hide the shit. It was hilarious. And I just keep thinking, like, did everybody except me forget that he literally said that Republicans are some of the dumbest people he's ever met in his fucking life? He didn't know people could be that stupid. That's coming from Trump.
Ugh.
Money does not equate to intellect. Money does not equate to intellect.
It does not.
Because that would mean Ron DeSantis is a genius. The guy who eats pudding with his fingers if he can't find a spoon. Because there's something hard to find that's a spoon. Apparently those are a rare commodity, so he just said, fuck it, let me get my fingers up in it. I wish I could make this shit up.
It sounds like he was the reason Go-Gurt was invented.
I wouldn't be surprised if he held the patent. Next up, here comes a new/late challenger. He whose skills to pay the Tekken bills are without equal until Clive showed up, a one Pike.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
All right,
Happy to be
so
back.
yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all that good stuff. Theoretically, this will probably be our last video of the year, or it'll be our penultimate video of the year. For those who don't remember, penultimate means second to last. It's a really cool way to say second to last. All right, so first up, tell me what media you consider the best of the year. Game, movie, book, whatever. And no, it doesn't have to have been made in 2024. I wouldn't hold you like that.
You're too kind. Okay, well, let's start with game, because that's what I'm most familiar with. So, like you said earlier in my introduction, my main game is predictably Tekken, and Tekken 8 came out this year. Tekken 8 is probably the most accessible Tekken game that there ever has been.
I can vouch for that statement, because if it wasn't for Tekken 8, I would not be touching this shit.
Yeah, I was surprised to see you even pick this game up.
Fun fact for people who don't know, Tekken is technically spelled wrong in English, but no one cares anymore.
Yeah, I didn't know that at all.
It's actually 2 words, tech and then ken, iron hyphen fist, or iron fist. But because of the way the words look with Tekken 1, the shit ran together, so everyone just had Tekken, like it's one word.
I'm gonna use that as a party trick. So, yeah, I enjoy the game a lot. I don't really have a character in it yet, but time will tell if that game stays on my plate while other games come out next year. As far as movies, a movie I really enjoyed this year was the Beetlejuice movie, the Beetlejuice sequel.
Motherfucker, look at you. You developed taste. I'm proud of you right now.
I'm not sure how I was going to take that, but I'll take it as a compliment.
You should.
So, I feel like this was a love letter to kids my age, growing up watching Beetlejuice, and Michael Keaton kind of really solidified the role and made it so that everybody has something to look back on fondly for the character. And the great thing about it is it's just like chock full of references and callbacks to not only the first movie but the cartoon.
Oh shit, I didn't notice cartoon callbacks. Let me ask you something. I'm very curious. Did you notice, or maybe it's just me, in the trailer, Beetlejuice says, "The juice is loose." But in the actual movie, he didn't say it.
I did notice that. I was actually waiting for that line.
Hell yeah.
That'd have killed it for me. That'd have been a standing ovation in the middle of the theater. But unfortunately, we didn't get it. Another interesting tidbit that I had to Google after I got out of the movie. Did you know that I can't remember the guy's first name, Harold Dietz, the father? Spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen the movie yet. But
Thanks for the warning.
yeah, the father is dead in the movie. At the beginning of the movie, he's dead.
I
He's
wouldn't
only
call that a
shown-
spoiler per se.
Well, yeah, I guess that's fair. But he's only shown in claymation to see his face to remind you of what the character looks like, and then for the rest of the movie, he's missing the upper half of his torso. So in my mind, I thought it was in tribute of the actor. They retired the actor. The actor can't play the role, but they didn't retire the character. Come to find out, I didn't know this. The actor went to jail for extracurricular children activities, if you catch my drift.
Oh, that is ironically unfortunate.
I would just call it regularly unfortunate, but yeah, I didn't know that. It was interesting to Google after that. But okay. Let me space that out. For TV shows,
You can do that. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna go ahead and say
Oh
Dan
my
Dan.
god. You know, that Dan to Dan shit that happened kind of sort of inspired me to do the Jasmine episode. Not gonna lie.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't know if you saw what happened to him on Twitter.
No.
Yeah, well, we'll get into that either, after Christmas or 2025 real early. It's going to be a very interesting episode for you and me.
I'm looking forward to it. So the reason I chose Dan to Dan is probably going to make a few people upset, but actually, I quite enjoy the dub. Hold your applause.
If you're looking for me to have a rebuttal, I do not. I have mixed feelings about Dan to Dan because, well, I won't say it sucks. I don't think it sucks. My issue with Dan to Dan is how many people have been pissing and moaning who watch weeb Japanese cartoon shit go online and piss and moan about rape jokes, go online and piss and moan about really, really old cartoons that did heinously offensive shit. Not that I'm saying it's okay to do heinously offensive shit. And then here comes Dan to Dan. First episode has comical rape. And they all got quiet. The same people who was up whole wheat Pete's ass, they all got quiet. But also, whole wheat Pete wasn't even the only person to make a Diddy or a Bieber or a baby oil joke. In fact, those videos all kind of linked to each other on Instagram. Instagram has not pulled the shit. Instagram did not say it broke their terms of service. But then here's Dan to Dan, and it's just okay. And I'd like to say it's not like individual people I know, but it literally is. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going around, saying that, hey, it's okay to make a joke about the worst thing to happen to someone. However, it's never been directed at an actual person. It's been jokes about the deed or act itself, which they have a problem with. But literally, I got like 15 friends who fucking love Dan to Dan. So I'm just like, I kind of want to do a Dan to Dan episode, but also, I think you've learned by now, I do not, as a wholeheartedly individual, I've never had the same amount of respect that I do for a particular country's cartoons. I like judging the cartoon as a whole. Where the region is from means nothing to me. Was it a good show? Was it a bad show? Is my main concern. But Dan to Dan has me feeling some type of way that I'm pissed, but also I've not received any negative stigma myself about rape jokes and shit like that. But to be fair, this channel has never actually actively done that I can recall. And the one time we did have a rape discussion was over 6 or 7 years ago, and it was not something that was, done comically. So I am very conflicted about that, and I might make it a solo episode just so, none of you other guys got to deal with that shit. Because I'm really confused by this level of hypocrisy. Because, now they've gone to bullying and harassing whole wheat Pete and 2 other people after they apologized, or tell them they have to temporarily get off the internet. Literally saying you have to temporarily get off the internet. The entirety of the internet. but the entire show of Dan to Dan is okay and cool. It's blowing my fucking mind. So many other people have made baby oil jokes. One made it where Batman was fucking trying to combat Diddy, but Diddy was about to win the fight because he accidentally put some baby oil on Batman. And no one gave anybody in that video shit. But this one dude throws baby oil on Bieber, a fake Bieber, and they all lose their shit. But then they fucking love Dan to Dan. First episode, 2 people get raped? Or is one person got raped and one person was threatening to get his genitals eaten? And it's even weirder in the manga because they let you know it's a fucking... Those aliens are basically using a mechanical dick. Completely no censorship in the English version, by the way. So I'm just like... I don't know how to feel about that show. And it's not even the show, really. It's like the community around it. But of course, this is America. If we didn't have people with double standards, would we be America? But yeah, rant over.
Oh man, I can't wait for that episode.
It's the first episode.
Okay. No, I mean your episode.
Oh yeah, I think I'm specifically waiting until 2025 because it's so hot right now. People won't listen to it. They might hear 30 seconds and then try to shit on me in the comments and shit. I'm like, no, listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying is your anger and outrage does not make sense to me. I'm not saying you're an asshole for doing this to whole wheat Pete. First off, I don't fucking know that guy. I know damn well, though, that he has enemies, but most of his enemies are based on the fact that some people are legitimately just envious or jealous of what he has access to, blah, blah, blah. It's really stupid shit. But also there are people who are legitimately haters because they think that he magically condones rape or some shit. Like, it is so fucking stupid. And they want to use that to keep fanning the flames. It's basically the, what's his name? Shamik Moore shit. Black Twitter has never forgiven Shamik Moore. Anything he says or does, they try to manipulate into him taking an L. I'm like, bro, just turn off your fucking comments. Like, you don't have to put up with this. Literally, just turn off your comments. Billie Eilish earned her ass whoopings because she kept saying stupid shit and her parents never truly humbled her. And you can tell her parents have never truly humbled her. But this ain't even that, because first off, that shit subsides. It's always the same thing. Wait for her to say something stupid or possibly phrase something in a weird way. The internet reacts. And then about 2 or 3 weeks later, no one cares or no one remembers. But this shit with Dan to Dan and fucking Whole Wheat Pete and the voice actor who plays the main nerd dude in Dan to Dan, this shit is just all weird. Every single 2-3 weeks, some part of Dan to Dan is blowing up the internet in the worst way possible. And then people wonder why I barely use Twitter and I share it with another person who just has the same name as me. Yeah. Oh yeah, fun fact for most people out there. I know that most social media literally does the same thing, or it'll try to make itself do the same thing as another social media. So 90% of the social media that I'm on, I'm not the sole user of. If you paid attention to my Instagram, it's run by 2 other people. If you on my Facebook, hey, that's me. Twitter, nope. It's only me in select occasions. And when I say select occasions, I mean the 20 tweets per year I may do are mine. And the rest are the other Zach's being nice enough to share my videos on Twitter and him chatting up porn stars or whoever the fuck he talks to on there. Threads is me though. But Threads is me because to me, Threads feel like what Twitter is pretending it is right now. But yeah, I've occupied enough time. Let me go back on mute.
Okay. Well, so those are my 3 for media of this year.
Okay, so number 2 is what is something that you consider a major accomplishment for you as a person this year?
Well, that's easy for me. This year I got married. Yep, married. Hold your applause. Interesting.
Are you seriously? You seriously don't know the reference?
No.
What song did Beyonce make about being married?
Um, I don't know if I'm supposed to embarrass myself here or not, but I'm not
Yes,
sure.
yes, you are. It's called Put a Ring on It. That's a gift from the music video Put a Ring on It about marriage.
Oh, I had no idea.
It's a very good song. You should look it up when this is over.
Okay. Um, but yeah, there's not much I can say about that. Just yeah, I got married. Found the love of my life, locked her down. I'm out of the dating pool. I can't deal with the foolishness out there anymore.
Congratulations, man. I know I technically didn't say it, but I am happy for you, especially if you knew where you came from, which you do with your level of stupidity. The fact that you were able to digivolve to the point where a woman would actually want to put on a ring that you gave her is nothing short of impressive and astonishing, and I truly commend you.
I appreciate it.
One day we will have a life story about weird and stupid shit that is happening in people's dating lives. I am making sure you are there.
Save the date.
Bro, you have no idea how disturbing Bumble is, which is weird because I actually do pretty well on Bumble, but that doesn't mean it's not disturbing.
Ah. I believe you.
Okay. Moving on from that. What's some weird shit that happened to you this year? You can use as many slots as you want for that one.
Something weird that happened to me this year. Let's see. Um, oh, I ate a tooth. My tooth to be specific.
Real or fake?
Real.
Oh, well, mine was a lot worse.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't I didn't put it in my weird things category. I probably should have. Yeah, I accidentally cooked one of my fake teeth and ate it. And I don't think I'm going to be able to get a replacement till 2025.
Sounds painful.
You would think, but here's the thing. I don't even know when it happened. That's the scary part to me. I just know it happened in the past 14 days.
I mean, at least I know when mine happened. I was eating fried chicken, and you can't really differentiate between crunches when you're eating fried chicken. So tooth crunch all the same.
I want to let you know I am actively avoiding saying something that the internet would easily perceive as something offensive to a certain group of people. However, if you have something outside of that, I don't think it's going to top that first one.
What else? What else happened to me? Oh, I found out my grandfather. Come on. Kidnapped my. Hold on, let me make this easier to. Kidnapped my mother. Yep. I found out my grandfather kidnapped my mother when she was a child. By his words, you can't kidnap your own children. I'm pretty sure the law, disagrees, but yeah.
Actually, yeah, you can kidnap your own child if you take them forcibly to a residence that is not their listed residence for the state or with the government. So, if your child is registered to a residence in Los Angeles, you show up and take them to Chicago, don't ask. Yeah, that's kidnapping. In fact, unfortunately, people don't realize, but most child kidnappings are from their own parents for like almost 40 years now. Also, holy shit, that sounds like a story. So did he lose custody, or was he just like, fuck you, we're divorced, so I'm just going to do it anyway?
The latter, pretty much. Yeah. While my grandmother was at the casino, my grandfather took a bus, probably a Greyhound, from New York to California.
That's at least 3 days.
5 days.
Damn.
Yep, 5-day bus. I don't know what compelled him to do it, but he took a bus from New York to California, went to my grandmother's sister and said, "Hey, I'm going to take the kids out to get something to eat." Unfortunately, well, I guess fortunately for my uncle, he was sick that day and probably like 2 years old. So my grandmother's friend or sister or aunt, I'm not entirely sure what she is to me as far as relation, but he would not let my grandfather take my uncle. So instead, he took my mother for 2 years. Nobody knew where she was.
So she did eventually get reconnected with her mom.
Yeah, yeah. Everything worked its way out, but um,
Did he go to
when I
jail
say
or anything?
no, no.
What the fuck?
When I say my grandfather fully believes that you cannot kidnap your own children, he meant that. He put some stank on that statement.
Well, first off, if he had to lie to come and get them out of the house, what does that tell you?
Uh, it tells me I should probably not cross my grandfather at any time.
Is he still buff and burly and shit?
Yeah, he's a doctor. He's like a leading mind in racial psychology.
What the I'm learning
Yeah,
so much today.
if you study race, you've probably read one of his textbooks.
We're going to wait till this show is over and I'm going to get some names from you. Ironic that I picked you for the Jasmine episode. Sounds like he might have been the better target.
Probably.
Yeah, still don't trust a felon though, because that is technically a felony, despite how he feels. That's literal human trafficking.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit.
But those are my three.
I mean, that's almost tied up. Like, depending on, if you look at this whole entire list, you pull out and look at it. First off, I lost. But it wasn't a competition. But I feel like it's really between you and Officer who had the best fucking 2024 list. Like, real talk. You two.
I don't know how I would beat that.
Bro, first off, your number 3 beats his number 3.
That's fine. I'll give you that.
Now, number 2, you weren't here for, but here's the short version. The person he helped overcome an addiction had 2 addictions. Fucking VTubers and cocaine at the same time. I wish I could make that up.
I don't mean to laugh. I really don't.
Bro,
Those
it's
are
okay. We all did.
They're almost juxtaposed. Like,
Bro, what gap? It wasn't even that it wasn't that haha. It's funny that they got addiction to drugs. It's like, it was the fact that he at first I was like, oh, he's comparing both of these two. I was like, no, one of these addictions is obviously far worse than the other. Okay. No. When he clarified it was the same fucking person, I was actively biting my tongue, which was like an idiot, even though I had to remember to put myself on mute. Oh my God. Yeah, this is definitely going to be an interesting episode for you if you end up watching this. I'll tell you, like I'm going to tell everybody, I recommend, if we do the long episodes, I recommend putting the shit at 1.2 speed at a minimum, or on YouTube 1.25. Yes, they are interesting, but hey, look, not everybody's rushing through this shit, so some people talk slow.
fair.
Oh my God. All right, well, with that being said, in case we don't end up doing another video this year, congratulations, man. And I am still firmly supplanted in the belief that your first one's going to be a daughter and you're going to hate all of her boyfriends. But yeah, I'm happy for you, honestly, just from seeing your social media progression to being a decent human being. I'm looking forward to see what happens in your future, man.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I definitely grew up. I was a little shit, and you were there for all of it. So.
Yeah. The only reason I didn't break your fucking nose when I met you wasn't because you came with your homies. It was because there were 3 40-year-old adults that I looked up to 3 feet on my left. You don't realize it at the time, but that guy directly in front of I was trying to get the autograph of went on to be one of the best comic book artists for Capcom related comics.
Wow.
Yeah. And he's currently a art teacher for a major university in Canada. And the guy next to him is still just considered one of the best artists for gaming related art just living right now. And he's used for comic books all the fucking time if it relates to video game characters. This dude named Chamba. Or the Chamba, yeah. So thank God I have restraint, because I might not have the positions that I have today. In fact, as you can see over in the purple, yeah, if I had done what I was thinking, possibly option number 2 might not have even happened for me.
Well,
No, the one next to it. See where my mouse is?
yeah.
Yeah, that one. That might not have happened.
Well, thanks for not breaking my moneymaker.
It's okay. I appreciate that. All right, with that being said, I hope you enjoy the rest of your 2024 and your merry eggnog season. And I will see you in the next one, or when we finally get you in the Marvel vs. Capcom mod scene. Leona is now finished.